Hello everybody and welcome to the T Side Nuke Experience. Throughout this video, I will be going over topics such as A. Executes, outside yard smokes, B. Executes, and ramp control. Stay tuned. Now the first things you need to have a good grasp on are the basic concepts of T-sides in general, as the T-side for nuke can be very frustrating to play on, and the CT sides can shut you down very easily. So you need to understand the basic concepts that are team play, coordination, communicating well with each other, and having good set procedures and how you do things on the team all need to be set in stone before you can really start mastering a good T side on nuke. Now, some of the things I want to cover and help give some shining light in is how you should be taking map control and what are some effective ways to do that, and how you can abuse rotates to make some parts of the map weaker than others to really help you take much more help gain map control easier. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? Now, jumping into the lobby area, this is where a lot of what's going to go down for T-side is going to happen, as you either have lobby and outside, right? And so usually what you're going to happen is you're going to see maybe like one or two players hanging out here on defaults, most importantly. And so it's what you call like your lobby lurk or whatever, right? Usually a player who can stand on their own individually. A team that I see having a good lobby lurk is Mouse Sports, right? They have Rops who does this very well. You watch some of the new games, even like the recent or as far back as 2019 games, 2018 games, as when like Rops came into the roster. If you watch him play nuke, you're gonna see Rops. He's a very good individual player and stands on his own, so that's what makes him a good fit for lobby lurks. So the biggest thing a lobby lurk needs to be aware of is timing and how they can impact around and still help out their team on the other places across the map elsewhere. If your team is going for maybe some sort of outside play, you have to be aware as a lobby player that CT teams, as you get higher up, will become more aware of the fact that you're only going to leave like one or two players here in lobby, especially if you've got ton of resources and nades being used outside. So you need to become aware of the different reactions that CT teams can have on you. So lobby crunches can be one of them, and you just need to keep in mind that. You also need to be aware of like timings and everything. And so a well-placed ramp lurk out can easily help your team win rounds and get a nice effective B hit going, as well as a good lurk out through hut or a walkout through squeaky or something. So put somebody who's very well oiled in the workings of CT reactions and have a very set like style and isn't just lurking to lurk, but still wants to try and help out their team as much as possible. And that person will be most 9 times out of 10 perfect fit for a lobby lurker. But enough with that. I want to focus more on other parts of the map. And so the other half of the map, and this is the other part of the map where you gain some map control from the start of the round, is outside yard. And so usually you're going to see like 2 players coming here or no players at all sometimes, as with like strats are, as outside is just a place for you to take map control to open up lanes and like areas and things you can do across the map as like a team, as you haven't really won a round per se. If you take full control of outside, you still need to go into a bomb site and actually like close out rounds. And so usually you have one or two players coming out here. You usually have some sort of also kind of lurky-ish role rifler coming out here, but the other player, most importantly, is the opera will come out here, take fights, obviously. But as opera, you usually don't want to be taking fights with the CT opera. You usually don't want. You want to be picking off riflers, right? As you have a massive advantage with the sniper rifle. That is the op. So you want to be trying to find openings onto riflers. So plays as an opper are be much better. As at the start of a round, if you open this and try to pick onto the mini player, but going outside can still be a good idea, right? If you somehow, let's say you smoke off big garage and try to get some sort of reaction or something, try to fight some a player that plays mini or something, then you can make an argument that going outside for a pick can be very good, and it can open up into some sort of explosive early plays into the A site. But yeah, the big elephant in the room for outside is obviously outside smokes. The main one obviously is just the basic 2 smoke. Alright, you smoke this off, obviously no gap here. Right, you're gonna have lineups for this. Just to cross in the secret, right? Second way you can do this is that, these get thrown. These can get thrown from either like T spawn, or they can get thrown from here. You can either choose to use the smoke, send like one, maybe your whole team down into secret, or just I see a lot of teams, just send out that one rifler who is in that like lurky-ish kind of role spot. So they send him down into secret all by himself just to cause rotations across the map. And as at the beginning of rounds, CT players, if you don't already know, CT teams will not send players into the B bomb site, because why should they? Because as a tease at the start of rounds, you do not have access to the B bomb site, right? The underground side of the map, right? So the only way you can gain access is usually through throwing smokes to cross into secret, or right, getting some sort of smoke play going on with like the nade of the door to get access into vent, or getting some sort of ramp play and pushing the ramp player off or killing the ramp player. Those are the only ways. Those are the only 3 ways, right, to get into the B bomb site. And so those are the only things. If you attack those spots on the T side and put pressure there, those are the only times will teams rotate CT players. The other outside smokes can consist of a smoke there, another smoke here, and some sort of like smoke garage. And so obviously these smokes are gonna be like actually a lot closer to you. And so that's like the second variation. Another variation occurs when they just like do this like lineup of 3 smokes, I'm pretty sure. And so that's like the third variation that you're gonna see. It's gonna be all very similar, not quite exact as to what I have here. But yeah, they all can be used in different ways to not just help you gain access to secret, but you can flash into smokes to flash into mini garage, or use the smokes for some sort of gimmick play. Try to fight the big garage player. I want to talk about next, which is A executions, A plays, really. Now the majority of A plays are going to happen through lobby, if done with like proper util, and you can really just rock the whole CT defense. And so there's a huge catalog of nades that can be thrown here, right? They'll all be lined up. Mainly you're gonna be lined up around these 2 things. I don't even know what you call them. And so usually smokes There's one that's going to like land like here at Mustang, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, to block off any CT players trying to just hide in that position to attack any team, any T players coming out through hut. Another common nade is just ollie into top of hut. I don't exactly remember what the lineup was. And so you can get other mollies, obviously, to line up the back site. And you can also get smokes that can land into heaven. So those are like the basic nades that get thrown from outside. The rest of the utility actually comes in through the players that are in lobby themselves. As one of these players will have a molly, that back vent, and a smoke to throw at mini garage, right? They'll clear out close to them, they'll clear out HUD, swing out, clear out heaven, and they'll start clearing out the site, right? And so those are all like the basic nades that you need. All you really need at the end of the day is some good flashes. Just fucking good. That's all you really need left is just some good flashes, and just make sure that your team knows what's going on, right? And all you really need to do is just trade in. And sometimes CTs are just going to have an unbreakable defense, and that's just the way it goes. So the next thing I want to talk about is ramp plays. What can you do on ramp plays? And then we'll lead into the next thing I want to talk about before I wrap up here is B plays. Ramp can be a very hard place to attack. Even though there's only one player here, it can still be hard to attack as there's very little room you're working with, as there's no place to like throw nades, and a lot of the angles that the ramp players like to play can be a little weird and janky sometimes. As so taking ramp control really comes down to, you know, good protocols, obviously, but most importantly, you need to be able to trade with your team effectively and being able to just push off this ramp player whenever possible. A good ramp player, you aren't going to be attacking the ramp, or most average like teams on the T side will attack ramp very few often, and so usually the ramp player is just like big sleeping over here, right? And he sees like one sign of movement, he's scared like a bird, just like that one noise, and they're gone, right? And so that can be used in your own favor, is that you throw like a flash or something and then just start coming out, maybe take a bunch of shots to get them off the headshot angles here, and then get another teammate to throw another flash for you, help take this fight on the over in hell here, on if any opper comes rotate in, and just try to push this ramp player off without taking as few casualties as possible, or no casualties at all, because ramp players will just run away and fear dying, because if you kill the ramp player, the B side is like completely open, right? Teams don't rotate players down here unless they have a reason to, right? They don't want to rotate players here, right? They don't want to leave A exposed with only 2 players, as they have to. Most of the time teams will try to hold on to outside and ramp without giving anything up, and so use it to your advantage, right? Use this to your advantage. Know this and take it and control it, and you will be able to abuse more rotations and more CT players this way. So yeah, just push ramp players off, deny any oppers trying to rotate in. If there's like a molly or something, and you should be able to just take ramp for free, right? Unless the ramp player really does just stick around, and you know, maybe he's having a good day, he's feeling himself, right? Then all you really need to do is just trade him out, right? Make sure deny him that multi-kill, right? train them out, kill them, and then you're off to the races, right? Either make a call in that moment from your IGL or something, or from your team, one of your teammates, you maybe make a call. Either like, let's slow this down, right, and let the let the CTs like, start leveling out like their players, and let's just hit a bomb site, or let's act fast right now. Let's get on a move on. Let's start going fast. Let's fast as we can, as fast as we possibly can. Let's get onto this B bomb site, throw our utility, and get its plant going down, and get some good post plant set up, right? Because we just killed the ramp player. There's nobody down here on B, right? Maybe we showed some pressure outside. Maybe we showed some pressure towards the A side, But we got the whole B side of the map with no CT players down here yet. Take control of that. Know this. Know that there's no CT players down here most of the time. And just with this sort of like fast like explosiveness that you can have, it's like 1 second, oh, there's just one dude on ramp. Next thing you know, there's 3 dudes. Your ramp player's dead. Trade him out, right? And next thing you know, half the team's down here on B, and the fastest person is maybe like the hut player, right? And he gets down on ramp, right? He's got to go through that, and then he has to go around, and by the time he gets here, maybe you're already throwing utility, right? Have that, be quick on your feet, and taking ramp and taking B will be so much easier, and you'll just stack up. Rounds will just like come so much easier to you, to your team. Yeah, so enough with me rambling on about that ramp. B site. This site can be very easy, but very complex, but very hard, all at the same time. And that's just the beauty of Counter-Strike, is that sometimes things are easy and sometimes they're very hard. And so, having a good post plant, having a good strategy and setup on the T side is key and most important to closing out rounds here. You need to make sure that your team, you and your teammates, are in good positions, and that you have good setups. Maybe you still have utility, even if you don't have utility, right? The positions on this B site alone can be very good, but they can get shut down very easily by the CT side. So number one thing you need to do is to make sure that you're taking map control, at least in like the double doors area, this control room area. This is the most important thing you can do, is take control of this area. Your life becomes so much easier. Not only that, but it's like your life just becomes so much easier. That's all it is. You get so much more leverage, and you get so much more room, more positions open up. And the amount of times I've seen where it's like a 1v2 or like something like that, and the player clutches out because he's messing with the doors, and he gets a good shot, he gets a couple shots off onto the player defusing the bomb, and that's just how that's how they win the round. That's how the clutch happens, right? It's just this area is just so important for post rounds, and so that's all I really have to talk about. On the B side is just make sure you got good positions, right? Make sure you're taking control, just a little bit control, not too much. Don't overextend, right? You don't want to do that, but just get some good spots going. And this is really like after yeah. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the B bomb site, and I feel like I've covered everything I wanted to talk about on Nuke. For the T side specifically, right? Make sure you've got a player here in lobby that's willing to stand up on his own 2 feet. Make sure you're, putting some pressure out and setting yourself up for success on the other parts of the map. If outside, just to do a little bit of recap, make sure you've got some good nades, and you're trading out like usual on the A site, that you're putting pressure on the ramp player to let him know that you should be afraid of. He should be afraid of you guys, and make sure that when you're getting into the B bomb site, act fast, think fast, and have confidence knowing that there is probably no players on the CT side down there. And so that's all I have to talk about on the T Side Nuke. It's been a little bit minute since I've uploaded anything. It's my bad. So yeah, thanks for watching, I guess, and see you next time. Peace.